In what could be a very volatile week across the crypto space, we're going to check in with a load of different projects here, have a little look at what is coming up for many altcoins. Of course, we'll have a little look at some BTC data as well and see if the Gbtc unlocks are going to mean we dump in price. If you haven't checked my video out dedicated to Gbtc, come and check it out down here. Got quite a few views on there and some really interesting discussion points from people in the comment section. And overall, it's pretty much a broad brush approach. We have no strict consensus on what will happen with the unlocks. Some people think it's bearish for Bitcoin. Some people even think it's bullish for Bitcoin, and quite a large majority think it is delta neutral. And with that being said, if you enjoy the content in today's video, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Let's jump in here. So the Grayscale unlocks come thick and fast now over the next 10 days. So starting today on the 12th of July, we have roughly 2,000 BTC worth of shares becoming unlocked. And then tomorrow on the 13th, around 2,600. And then on the 14th, Wednesday, another 5,000. So all in all, around 10,000 BTC worth of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust shares will become unlocked. And then into Saturday, we have the biggest of the unlocks so far, 16,000 Bitcoins worth. The following Monday, then 8,000, and then the Tuesday and the Wednesday around 1,000 and 3,500 respectively. So all of the Gbtc narrative is going to play out pretty much over the next 10-day period. We're going to see how the market pans out with this. We're going to witness firsthand what this does mean. We're going to see who was right and who was wrong with their predictions of the bull and the bear case behind this. But as of filming right now, with the first unlock today, if we look at the actual Gbtc trust, well, nothing has really happened as yet. If you just look at today, the share price is roughly 0.5% down, nothing to really shout home about there. No major change to the trend, which is just going downwards slowly at the moment. Of course, these unlocks are predicted to further suppress the price, as investors will be able to sell their Gbtc shares and thus push this price even lower. It's trading at a nice discount right now. So with low volume over the weekend, Bitcoin did continue to rally. We went up to a high of around 34,650 bucks in the early hours of this morning before we've had a bit of a pullback. So we were in this channel trending upwards, and we were coming to this inflection point where we would either break up or maybe break down. We poked our head up outside of this and then pretty much dropped straight back in here. I do predict that we're just going to trend sideways, to be honest with you. With really low volume in the market right now, there doesn't seem to be a huge appetite to push Bitcoin up further than the 34, 35, 36K level. And every time we're pushing down towards the low 30s, buyers are stepping in and we're starting to see volume. And looking at the daily time frame here, you can see these wicks down, signifying that the buyers are really stepping in and ensuring that the price doesn't go below this kind of region around the low 31K point. So at the moment with the Gbtc unlocks, even if worst case scenario and we do have a dump down, I am prepared for this at this moment in time. Being based in the UK here, it's been a bit tricky to actually buy cryptocurrency as of late. I've been using the crypto.com app where you can just do a bank transfer into your fiat wallet and then you've got the funds on hand. So currently I've set myself up with a pot of GBP, Great British Pounds, ready to buy up any dips that do come over the next 10-day period. So if I can get some cheap Bitcoin at any point, that is exactly what I will be doing and buying up that dip. And if we get through the next 10-day period unscathed, and if we continue to trend in this crab market to the right-hand side, I will just dollar cost average in with those funds. Rect Capital here showing us that Bitcoin has weekly closed above the 50-week EMA for the 8th week in a row now. And this just looks like sideways chop and not a lot of excitement in the market right now. On the S&P 500, just to have a little look at those stonks, it's pushing up towards an all-time high. So the stock market is pretty much bubbling away nicely, setting the scene, I believe, for a future Bitcoin rally. Clearly, investors are not holding onto their cash. They're putting them into the stock market. They're putting them into the likes of gold here as well, having a bit of a relief rally from a dump at the early part of this month. And if the stock market and the gold market are both looking up, I think we're going to see the crypto markets take a turn upwards as well. And this analyst over on TradingView believes the dollar has topped out and it will start to move to lower prices over the next coming weeks. Typically, when that does occur and the dollar loses strength, the crypto markets also rally. So hopefully we will get some positive news over the next month or so. In terms of what's coming up this week, we had a vote over on my Patreon. Come and get involved if you like to. I'll leave a link down below. So the community voting on what video they want me to put onto YouTube this week. And we have a winner with how to research new altcoins. Specifically, I'm going to go into some Ethereum dApps that could be coming out soon and how you go about finding those. So make sure you stay tuned for that and subscribe to the channel. So the first altcoin here, KuCoin shares, trading around $12.50 right now. And as you can see, it started to tail off over the last 24 hours. This is probably due to the fact Bitcoin's lost around $1,000 as well off its price. But if you look at the volume profile down here, it doesn't look too great, does it? So we had a big rally at the start of July, moving into around July the 7th, which was the top for KuCoin, but also the KuCoin chain as well, in terms of those transaction volumes that we will look at in just a second. But since then, the volumes just tailed off. The price was creeping upwards, but this may not be the BNB reincarnation that people were after. So KCC, the KuCoin community chain, you can see the daily transaction count has leveled off quite significantly since the 7th of July, over 250,000 transactions, and then today around 25,000. That is not particularly good. In terms of new addresses as well, this chart showing us that we topped out here and then we've been in a steady or even sharp decline. So I think that the interest in this chain may be slightly tapering off already. And overall, I think that maybe the plays within this ecosystem or this blockchain aren't going to be the safest. One of the guys on Patreon did mention that the Rug Doctor had stepped in and suggested one of the exchanges, the AMMs, had some dodgy code within it, so that could be a potential rug pull. So overall, if you do want to get involved with the KuCoin community chain, I would suggest the best vehicle for actually getting exposure to it would be the KCS token itself, rather than having to delve into that blockchain and play with all these brand new protocols that could be rug pulls, that could go to zero. At least you will be holding a token that does have value accrual to it within the KuCoin exchange itself. You can stake these and you can be safe in the knowledge that when retail does come back into crypto, we do see a pump across the board for centralized exchange tokens. It happens each and every time. Looking over onto Coin Market Calendar here, we have a big upcoming burn event for BNB. So BNB does quarterly burns of its token based on the revenue generated from the exchange. The last quarterly burn was in April, so this one is expected to occur around the 15th to the 18th of July. Last time out, Binance burned a total of 1.099 million BNB tokens worth over $500 million, which is rather impressive. And if we just look at the Binance chart right now, currently around $324, even with all that FUD, I think Binance has performed exceptionally well. If we just look over the 30-day chart, an absolute FUD storm during this period, but the Binance price has been doing rather well. Still 52% down from its highs, but they're going to be burning some more tokens. Current max supply 170 million. Probably going to burn around another 1 million tokens, I would suggest, as the last quarter was a good quarter for Binance overall. And with these token burns, the aim of the game for them is to actually reduce the total supply to half of the original total, which was 200 million. Thus, they want to get this down to 100 million. So when these token burns occur, this should increase the value of the remaining tokens on the network. So a nice event coming up for BNB holders there. We're also seeing the addition of NFT and gaming coins on big exchanges here. So the likes of Chiliz and Axie Infinity both getting the nod from Kraken. Kraken listing both of these tomorrow. I think they will also be adding the Smooth Love Potion as well, SLP, that you may have heard of, which is allowing people across like the Philippines or Vietnam to actually essentially just game all day and generate income through selling the SLP through the exchange, which is rather incredible and a very exciting change in the world where you're seeing people in developing countries actually gaming on the Ethereum blockchain and earning enough money to sustain themselves or even thrive, to be honest with you. They're actually earning more than the average wage by playing the Axie Infinity game. So crazy stuff. Quite a lot of conferences and things coming up as well. Decentraland mentioned here as part of the European Disruptive Summit going on. I think the the NFT sector is ready to really blow up. And of course, on the horizon, we have that date set now, the 4th of August for the London hard fork for Ethereum. So exciting times ahead there. Now, if I just pull up the chart for PancakeSwap and the Cake token here, this is one that I actually did trade recently, as I thought it was going to come and test this point of resistance up here, which it did, and I managed to sell some at a nice little return here. I will try and buy back cheaper if it approaches the support line I've drawn on here, around maybe the high $14 region. That'll be a nice swing on a cryptocurrency that returns a very healthy APY. In terms of the Cake ecosystem right now, this is the only token that I intend to really hold. The APY is very good, 102%. On an asset that has room to grow again. It was up to like 40, 50 bucks. Remember earlier in the year, I think it can potentially get back up there at some stage, but that APY is very, very juicy. And if you can trade it a little bit on the way, do a few swings here and there and increase your overall Cake stack, then put it back to work, it just seems like a no-brainer. Most of the other things across here now, really small market cap cryptocurrencies with a lower overall APR or APY, dependent on whether you wish to come in here and restake each and every day. But for me, using the auto compound Cake pool is going to be the way forward. This is the only one that I'm really interested in using right now. And in terms of the rest of the Binance Smart Chain, for me, after all the rugs that have gone on, I'm not too interested in venturing into the unknown and the potential for Rug City to occur again. Then if we come over to this chart, and this is Kusama, one of the strongest tokenomics in the industry right now with their crowd loans for the parachains live. And this trend line here is at $200. It's come and visited this on numerous occasions now and just generally trending along it. A few pops up here and there, but overall at 200 bucks, I think KSM could be a good pickup. Of course, we need to see what Bitcoin does. First, if it breaks down, everything's going to go with it. But if it does start to show any more signs of strength, and we can see some further demand come in from institutions, or if there's any big tech players who come and scoop up some Bitcoin, as I've seen on social media, kind of trending at the moment, of course, we could start to trend back upwards. But at the moment in time, around 200 bucks looks a decent entry on KSM. This is one that I'm monitoring because they've just got awesome tokenomics, plain and simple. The parachain crowd loan auctions still in progress currently. They've had 3 so far completed. They're on at number 4 right now. And this is the bidding for the 4th one at the moment. KAVA was actually winning with about 118,000 KSM raised. But as you can see from this list, over 250,000 KSM being raised through the 4th round here. And this next parachain will be finished by tomorrow. So the 4th ends tomorrow, and then they will open up the 5th parachain slot for the next round of crowd loan funding. If you go to the KSM Twitter feed, you can get involved with their Twitter spaces that they're having on the 14th, where they're going to be talking about the crowd loans. I will try and retweet it after this so you guys can get involved with that. I'll be listening in and seeing what's going on. But at this moment in time, this means that almost 1 million KSM have already been locked. By tomorrow, this will be over 1 million tokens, currently around 8.9% of the supply after just 3 auctions, potentially 100 in total to come. So locking up almost maybe 10% of the supply this early on is obviously going to be fantastic for the tokenomics of Kusama. And this is what's going to happen with Polkadot later on in the year when those parachains go live as well. So rather awesome to see, and I think there's just going to be some meteoric rises in some of the Polkadot plays, some of the Kusama plays that are out there as well, but the underlying tokens KSM and DOT are definitely 2 I think we need to have firmly on the radar. So KAVA, the DeFi application over on the Cosmos ecosystem, now is actually bringing out the KAVA swap, which is coming very, very soon. So this could potentially rival the likes of your Uniswaps, a liquidity hub bridging DeFi, blockchains, and financial services. So there is a testnet that you can register for here. And if you want to get involved with that, it starts in 15 days. There are some big prizes up for grabs. So you can earn up to 100K of the total value being given out here, earn native yield and SWP rewards, the swap token they're bringing. and simple and safe KAVA on-chain transactions. You can get up to 20% APY from playing on their chain, and because they're built on Cosmos and this is a interoperable focused blockchain, you're going to be tapping into liquidity on KAVA swap across all the networks, Polygons, your DOTs, your Ethereums, your BSCs, all of the major blockchains, even Cardano when that goes live as well. So I think this could be a really interesting one to check out. And if you click on the register now button, you can sign yourselves up, show your interest. You have to like retweet something that they've got down here as well. But this means that you can actually get involved with the incentivization, potentially earn some funds, and also see what it's about before it hits the public launch. And if it looks really, really good, maybe you'll want to grab yourself some KAVA tokens. Then a firm favorite of mine here, we have Ramp DeFi. This is the ability to stake non-ETH based tokens and still put your funds to work into DeFi. I've covered this numerous times on my channel. It's around 80% from its all-time highs, which is rather outrageous in my opinion. And they've just continued to build and build and build. They got some really good new partnerships, but the tokenomics are continuing to burn tokens. Over the last month, they've burned in total just over 1 million ramp tokens. 1 billion is the total maximum supply. So we're talking about 0.1% being burned over the last month. And as a long-term holder of this token, the fact that they're burning them away like fun, this will eventually mean that the remaining tokens become more valuable. So very happy with that continuing to occur. And I'm sure that this network will continue to grow and grow and grow. It has been covered recently on Lark Davis's channel if you want to go and check that out as well. And then we have WooTrade. This is another top pick of mine that I think is going to do exceptionally well once they roll out the exchange to the public, which should be towards the end of the month now. Just had an email from them. This one down around 54% from the highs. If we go over the last 90 days here, not the worst looking chart of all the altcoins, to be honest with you. And again, these guys continue to burn their tokens. This is something I always look for. With investing in an altcoin, I want to see either deflationary pressures or value accrual to token holders. Woo token has burned 765,000 during the last month, and you can check out all these things through their blockchain. And then here, rounding up with the NFT market. So this one was accounting for 1% of the global dominance. So 1% of all cryptocurrencies, their value was in NFTs. It has now crept up to 1.1%. So the total NFT value has increased 10%. And this is only in the period of like the last week when I checked this. I think this area of growth is going to continue. In terms of like NFT videos I've put out there recently, they get terrible views. People don't seem to be really interested in NFTs. I don't think people really understand NFTs and don't have the appetite for this. And so that just represents an awesome opportunity to generate alpha. If not a lot of people are looking at these, you can definitely be picking some of these up that are really flying under the radar and that can perform exceptionally well. The rabbit hole, once you drop down into it, is crazy. The amount of things that are going on, the second worlds that are being built out, especially on the likes of Decentraland, I think people are literally going to be living in these virtual worlds going forward. So this is an area that we should not be neglecting. And as you can see from the 7-day performance of many of these, some big numbers being printed and the market caps still relatively low for crypto standards. And I expect that once retail shows back up and we re-enter the proper bull market territory again, these NFTs will absolutely fly. Altcoin market cap down roughly half from its highs up here. But as you can see from the weekly chart here, we are just trending sideways, very much crab market territory. No major increases, no major decreases, just trending along nicely. And then for Bitcoin dominance, a similar thing over the last few weeks, well, pretty much the last month, we've had a dominance level of around 46% for BTC. From the ultimate lows, yes, Bitcoin did reclaim quite a bit of dominance here, but it's not really been here nor there for Bitcoin dominance, and it looks like we're just trending sideways. So overall, the picture of the market is crab, sideways market. A little bit boring, to be honest with you, but during this period, it's time to be researching, seeing what the next hot projects are going to be, seeing the areas and the narratives that are going to flourish, and then allocating the capital appropriately. So we shall wait and see what happens with Bitcoin with the Gbtc unlocks over the next 10 days. Bull, bear, neutral, who really knows? We'll have to just play it out, play it by ear and see what happens. The altcoins pretty much moving sideways again at this point in time. and we're on wait and see mode generally. If you want to get involved with the channel and start to vote for some of the videos that actually go on to the YouTube channel here, make sure you sign up to my Patreon. A link down below, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.